Greetings, River Lady here, and it's March 10th and the temperature outside is in the low 50s, and it's giving me the itchies to get out and start digging. But our gardens aren't ready yet. The ground may be muddy, and it is certainly muddy, but the protection that we have on our plants, for example, let me come down here. These are phlox under here, and this is salt marsh hay that I put in place. And a lot of it is still frozen. So I don't want to get in there and start pulling that off. So don't start uncovering your plants just yet. I'm talking about zones 6, 5, 4. Zone 7, you can uncover your plants. But the other zones, be patient. You can see here I still have some ice. There's corn for the ducks. And again, the salt marsh hay is frozen in place. Things that you can do. Let's talk about that. Things that you can do in the late winter, early spring. You could do some light pruning. Not everything will get pruned, but a few plants can handle a late winter, early spring pruning. Trumpet vine will take well to being pruned in the late winter, early spring, and you don't have to worry about any of the new growth getting damaged by a late spring frost. That's something you do want to be concerned about if you decide you want to do early pruning of plants like Group C, I believe it is, clematis vines, panicle hydrangeas, your roses. You want to wait until after your spring frost to prune back plants like that. But a trumpet vine, especially this tangled mess, can do with a good lateral pruning, or let's call it a thinning pruning. And the way I would do this, I'm going to step in. You see there's still snow on the ground. I am going to step in. And the way I'm going to prune this plant is I'm going to be coming from the main trunks and I'm going to be moving out. And when I see one or two buds, can you see what I'm pointing? When I see one or two buds, I'm going to cut to those buds. I'm going to remove any dead wood and just do the lateral pruning. I'm hoping by doing this cut and getting rid of all this tangled mess, this will be like a rejuvenating cut, that I'll get more flowers this year. What I can do is I could bring the trunk right down to the ground, but I don't want to do that just yet. I'll try to save that for another year if this type of pruning doesn't work. What you want to do is when you're walking through your yard this time of year, keep a notebook or make a video on your phone, and that way you'll know what needs to be done. Lilacs, you don't want to bloom until after. You don't want to prune until after they bloom. However, you could get in here, which I will, and get those spindly branches that are shooting straight up, because by removing those, I'm not sacrificing any blossoms, and I'm helping the plant divert energy to the flower blossoms. The other thing you want to do when you're taking your spring walk, your late winter, spring, early spring walk through your property, is make note of any large projects. The spring zephyr, the hardy spring zephyr we got at the beginning of March, actually split this tree, and he is leaning on my oak tree. He's very stable. He's not going anywhere. So my neighbor and I have decided we're just going to leave him, because we're not supposed to cut down trees because they help to mitigate flooding. For this reblooming lilac bush, I could prune off those thinner branches and cut off any damaged wood. I have growth going on my roses. You want to hold off pruning them because you don't want to encourage that growth until after your spring frost has passed. Butterfly bushes, don't prune those back until after the spring frost. If water seeps into the cut stems, it will freeze. You can see how the stems have a hollow center. You see the hollow center? Water seeps in there and then it crystallizes and it splits and it kills the plant. Do, though, after your spring frost has passed, cut your butterfly bush 6 to 8 inches. Some people go right down to the ground surface, and it'll come back with vigorous growth. Other things that you can do right now is you can take off forsythia or pussy willow branches and force them to bloom inside your house. That's something you can do. You can stir your compost if you have a tumbling compost like mine. If you have to use a pitchfork, you might find it hard. It might still be frozen. All right, what else can you do now? Take care of any hardscape work. So let's look at my sweet little house. My gutter is sloping. I need to get up and clean my dryer vent. So I will put that on the list. Okay, I'll leave you with a shot of my beautiful river. I hope I've given you an idea of some of the things you can do this time of year. Oh, and you can start your seeds indoors. That's a wonderful thing you can do. This is River Lady saying happy gardening. And thank you for watching. And of course, subscribe. Bye.